Vivian. Vivian. The man on the hospital bed opened his eyes. I was stunned. 730 days. I had watched over him for 730 days. His hand, I had held for 730 days. He woke up. You finally come to see me. He looked at me, tears in his eyes. Vivian. I didn't move. Vivian. Vivian. His ex. I slowly let go of his hand. Daniel. I heard my own voice, very calm. I'm not Vivian. He was stunned for a moment. Then, his expression changed. I looked at him and suddenly laughed. 730 days, so this was the answer. The news of Daniel waking up quickly spread throughout the family. Mother-in-law Margaret was the first to rush into the ward, hugging her son and crying heartbreakingly. My son. You've finally woken up. Mom has waited for you for 2 years. I stood aside, watching this scene. 2 years. She said she had waited for 2 years. But in these 2 years, who came to the hospital every day? Who turned Daniel over, wiped him down, massaged him? Who dealt with the doctors and nurses? Who signed the surgery consent forms? It was me. How many times had my mother-in-law come? I had counted. 27 times. 730 days, 27 times. Averaging a little more than once a month. Each time, she stayed less than an hour before leaving. The reasons? I'm old, I can't bear to see this. The hospital has too many germs, my health isn't good. You're young, you should bear more. I bore it. 870,000 yuan. My savings of 570,000, all spent. Borrowed 300,000, still not repaid. Every day, arriving at the hospital at 6 a.m., going home at 10 p.m. lost 23 kilograms. I bore it for 2 years. What did I get in return? He woke up calling someone else's name. Grace. My mother-in-law's voice pulled me back to reality. What are you standing there for? Go pour Daniel a glass of water. I looked at her. She frowned. What? I ask you to pour a glass of water, and you're unwilling? Mom. Daniel spoke, his voice somewhat hoarse. I just. What happened just now? Mother-in-law asked. Daniel glanced at me, didn't speak. I knew what he was thinking. He was wondering if I had heard that name. I had heard it. Crystal clear. I'll go pour the water. I turned and walked out of the ward. In the corridor, I leaned against the wall, taking deep breaths. Vivian. Daniel's ex. They were together in college, broke up after graduation. Daniel had said the breakup was due to long distance. He said it was a youthful romance, long over. He said he loved me now. I believed him. We had been married for 3 years. He never mentioned Vivian. I thought it really was just the past. But his first words upon waking were calling her name. I closed my eyes. My mind was in chaos. Grace. A voice sounded. I opened my eyes. It was my sister-in-law Emily. Sister-in-law, are you okay? She looked at me, hesitant to speak. I'm fine. I forced a smile. She bit her lip. I was at the door just now, heard my brother call. She didn't finish. I knew she had heard. You heard wrong. I said. She looked at me, her expression complicated. Sister-in-law, these 2 years have been hard on you. She said. I didn't answer. Hard? It was quite hard. 870,000 yuan. 730 days. 23 kilograms. But was this hardship worth it? I didn't know. I only knew I had to figure out one thing. Vivian. What exactly was her relationship with Daniel? That night, back home, I opened Daniel's phone. These 2 years, his phone had been with me. I had never checked it. Because I trusted him. But now, I didn't. The password was our wedding anniversary. Phone unlocked. WeChat. I found a contact. Vivian. Clicked in. My hand started shaking. Chat history, one by one. The latest one was the day before Daniel's car accident. See you tomorrow. Okay, usual place. Miss you. Me too. I scrolled up. The more I scrolled, the more my hands shook. Transferred this month's living expenses to you, buy something nice to eat. Thanks Daniel, you're so good to me. My wife isn't home, come to your place tonight? Sure, I'll wait for you. I closed my eyes. Opened them again. Continued scrolling. One by one, one by one. From their sweet words, to date arrangements, to transfer records. 1826 messages. From the year we got married, to his car accident. 3 years. 3 years of chat history. 3 years of miss you, love you, wait for you. I leaned on the sofa, staring at the ceiling. My eyes were dry, yet no tears came. So that's how it was. From the beginning, I was just a joke. The next day, I went to the bank. Using Daniel's ID, I printed his bank statements for the past 3 years. 67 transfers. Recipient, Vivian. Amounts ranging from a few hundred to tens of thousands. The largest one, 30,000. Note, happy birthday, buy the bag you like. I calculated one by one. 67 transfers, totaling 230,000. 230,000, he gave me 2,000 per month for living expenses. Transfers to her averaged over 6,000 per month. I spent 870,000 on his treatment. He spent 230,000 buying her bags. What a Daniel. What a long over. I put away the statements and returned to the hospital. In Daniel's ward, mother-in-law was peeling an apple. Seeing me, she didn't lift her head back. Have you washed the fruits? Washed. I placed the fruits on the bedside table. Daniel is much more spirited today. Mother-in-law said with a smile, the doctor said he can be discharged after a few more days of observation. Is that so? I looked at Daniel, that's good. Daniel avoided my gaze. From yesterday until now, he didn't dare look me in the eye. Guilty? Grace. Mother-in-law suddenly said, these 2 years have been hard on you. I was stunned. This was the first time she said something like that. However, she changed her tone, Daniel is awake now, you should take good care of him. What do you mean? I asked. What I mean is, mother-in-law put down the fruit knife, looking at me, look at you these 2 years, then to what extent? Your complexion isn't good, always with a bitter face. Daniel just woke up, seeing you like this, how can his mood be good? I understood. She was saying I wasn't gentle enough, not considerate enough, making Daniel in a bad mood. Mom. I said, I took care of him for 730 days, spent 870,000. What do you think I should do more? You're his wife, isn't taking care of him what you should do? Mother-in-law said as a matter of course. And you? I asked. Me? How many times have you come? How much money have you spent? Mother-in-law's expression changed, what do you mean? Nothing. I said, just settling accounts. Grace. Daniel suddenly spoke, how can you talk to Mom like that? I looked at him. He finally dared to look at me. Daniel. I said, I want to ask you one thing. His eyes dodged, what? Vivian. As the name came out, his expression changed instantly. Mother-in-law was stunned, Vivian? Which Vivian? The Vivian that Daniel called when he woke up yesterday. I said. The ward fell silent. Daniel's face was as white as paper. Grace, listen to my explanation, explain what? I interrupted him, explain your 3 years of chat history? Or explain the 230,000 you transferred to her? What? Mother-in-law stood up abruptly. 230,000? What 230,000? Ask your son. I said. Daniel opened his mouth, couldn't speak. Daniel. Mother-in-law was anxious. You transferred money to another woman? Are you crazy? Mom, that was in the past. In the past? I sneered. The last transfer was a week before your car accident. 20,000, note, see you next month, transferring living expenses first. Daniel closed his eyes. Mother-in-law glared at him. Daniel. Explain clearly. I'll say it for you. I took out the stack of bank statements from my bag. 67 transfers, 230,000. Starting from the year you got married, never stopped. I threw the statements on the bed. Here, evidence is here. Your son has been supporting his ex after marriage. Mother-in-law's expression became very ugly. Daniel clutched the bedsheet, his fingers white. Grace, listen to me. His voice trembled. Vivian and we have a spiritual connection, you don't understand. Spiritual connection. What a nice sounding term. Spiritual connection? I laughed. Spiritual connection requires transferring 230,000 to her? Spiritual connection requires telling her miss you love you every day? Spiritual connection requires arranging to meet and go to her house? No. Then what is it? He couldn't speak. I looked at him. Looking at this man I had cared for 730 days. I once thought he was my husband, my support, my partner for the rest of my life. Now I knew. I was just a substitute. A spare tire. A suitable choice. Daniel. I said, I want to know one thing. What? The day of your car accident, where did you come from? His face completely changed. Daniel didn't answer my question. But his expression had already told me the answer. I didn't pursue further. I needed evidence. More evidence. Back from the hospital, I started organizing the information in Daniel's phone. I had already seen the chat history. 1826 messages. Each one stabbed my heart like a knife. But I endured. I wanted to find more. Photo album. In Daniel's phone album, there was an encrypted folder. I didn't have the password. Tried a few, all wrong. Birthday, wrong. Wedding anniversary, wrong. I thought and entered a string of numbers. 0314, March 14th. White day. Also the anniversary of Daniel and Vivian being together. He had mentioned it casually once. I didn't pay attention then. Now, password correct. Folder opened. My heart sank. Photos, one by one. Photos of Daniel and Vivian together. Restaurants, cafes, cinemas, beaches. Some selfies, some taken by others. The most recent one, dated 3 days before Daniel's car accident. They were in a Western restaurant, holding red wine glasses, smiling happily. On Vivian's hand, wearing a bracelet. I recognized that bracelet. Cartier's, over 30,000. That was the largest transfer Daniel made to her. I continued flipping. There were some screenshots. Vivian's moments. Thanks to him, the one who understands me best. With the bracelet picture. So happy today, with the one I love most. With candlelight in the Western restaurant. Happiness is someone remembering what you like. With a bouquet of roses. I flipped through all the photos. 147 photos. 3 years, 147 photos. Averaging one per week. I opened Vivian's WeChat. She had no restrictions. I added her with my own WeChat. Note, stranger. Her moments were all about peaceful life. Coffee, afternoon tea, shopping, travel. And many texts like thanks, happiness, most loved. I scrolled down. To more than a year ago. There was a moment, with a hospital photo. Some pains, only I know. In the comments, someone asked what's wrong. She replied, nothing, I got through it alone. I stared at that photo. Hospital. Gynecology. I suddenly remembered something. When organizing Daniel's things before, I found a receipt. Gynecology receipt. Not mine. I thought Daniel brought it back from somewhere unknowingly. Now. I found that receipt. The date matched Vivian's moment. The receipt said, abortion surgery. I understood. Vivian had been pregnant with Daniel's child. Aborted. I took a deep breath. So that's it. No wonder he couldn't forget her. No wonder he transferred so much money to her. He felt he owed her. But what about me? Me, his wife? I cared for him 730 days. Spent 870,000. Does he owe me? I picked up my phone and sent a message to my best friend Lily. Lily, I need your help. What? Help me check an address. Daniel's dash cam on the day of the car accident. Daniel's car was towed after the accident, but the dash cam should still be there. I wanted to know where exactly he came from on the day of the accident. Lily replied quickly, okay, I'll have my husband check for you. Her husband is a traffic cop. An hour later, Lily sent me a location. Found it. The accident site is less than 500 meters after leaving this community. I opened the location. Sunshine Apartments. I searched in Vivian's moments. Found it. A post from a year ago, new home, new start. With the gate of Sunshine Apartments. I closed my eyes. On the day of the accident, Daniel came from Vivian's home. 500 meters. He left her home, drove 500 meters, and had the accident. If no accident, he would probably go home. Then pretend nothing happened, tell me overtime today. I waited for him for 2 years. Hoping he would wake up. Thinking after he woke, we could live well. But he woke up calling her name. The 730 days he lay in the hospital. How many days did he call her name in his dreams? I don't know. I only know, I don't want to be a fool anymore. On the day Daniel was discharged, mother-in-law set a table at home. Said it was a celebration. Relatives all came. Uncle, second uncle, aunt, cousins. A room full of people, lively. I sat in the corner, watching them toast. Daniel waking up is great. Yes, these 2 years really exhausted Grace. Grace is a good daughter-in-law, anyone else would have run away long ago. I listened to these words, said nothing. Mother-in-law held a wine glass, walked to me. Grace, come, Mom toasts you. She said smiling, these 2 years have been hard on you. I looked at her. 2 years. She came to the hospital 27 times. Didn't spend a penny. Even during Daniel's hospitalization, she had me transfer 5,000 yuan New Year money to her. Now, she came to toast me. Mom. I held the wine glass, I have something to ask you. What? Vivian. Mother-in-law's smile stiffened. You know her, right? Grace, what are you talking about? She frowned. I'm asking you. I stared at her, how much do you know about Daniel and Vivian? The relatives around fell silent. The atmosphere became awkward. Grace. Daniel stood up, what are you doing? What am I doing? I looked at him, I want to know the truth. What truth? The day of your accident, you came from Vivian's home. Daniel's expression changed. Mother-in-law's wine glass shook slightly. What nonsense. She said sternly, Daniel's accident was on the way back to the company, Sunshine Apartments. I interrupted her, Vivian lives in Sunshine Apartments. The accident site is less than 500 meters from that community. I've checked. I stood up, the dash cam location, hospital emergency records, all point to that address. The dinner table was silent. Daniel's face was deathly pale. Mom. I looked at mother-in-law. Did you know about this? Mother-in-law didn't speak. You knew, right? I said, you knew Daniel was always looking for Vivian. You knew he transferred money to her. You knew he came from her home on the day of the accident. I didn't know. Mother-in-law said loudly. You didn't know? I sneered, then I ask you, what's Daniel's phone password? Mother-in-law was stunned. 0314, I say, white day. The anniversary of Daniel and Vivian together. This password, I guessed it on the first try. Guess who told me this date? Mother-in-law's expression gradually became ugly. It was you. I said, 3 years ago, when Daniel and I just got married. You mentioned his ex. You said Vivian is a good girl, pity no fate. You also said March 14th was their anniversary. You said Daniel was always in a bad mood that day. Mother-in-law opened her mouth, couldn't speak. So you knew long ago. I said, you knew he had someone else in his heart. You knew he couldn't forget Vivian. But you still matched us to marry. I did it for Daniel's good. For his good? I laughed, or to find someone to be his nanny? Grace. Daniel was angry. How can you say that about Mom? Did I say wrong? I looked at him. Tell me, did I say wrong? He didn't speak. Daniel. I said, I ask you one last question. What? Did you marry me because you love me, or because I'm suitable? His lips moved. No answer. But his eyes had told me the answer. I laughed. Thank you. I said, thank you for your honesty. Then, I turned and left. Behind, came mother-in-law's shout. Grace! Stop. What do you want? I didn't look back. I knew what I wanted. I started collecting evidence. All evidence. Chat history, screenshots saved. Transfer records, printed backup. Moments screenshots, saved. Dashcam location, saved. Hospital emergency records, I went to the hospital to copy one. I also did one thing. Recording. These days, Daniel kept wanting to explain to me. I didn't let him explain. I just asked him questions. Then, recorded his answers with my phone. Daniel, do you love Vivian? Grace, I told you, that was in the past. You didn't answer my question. Do you love her? On the day of your accident, did you come from her home? Yes, but. How much did you transfer to her? About, over 200,000. 230,000, I said, 67 transfers, 230,000. He didn't deny. I continued asking. Why did you give her money? Because she. Because what? Because she was pregnant with my child. He suddenly shouted, she aborted. I owe her. My phone faithfully recorded this sentence. You owe her. I repeated, then what about me? What? I spent 870,000 to save you. I cared for you 730 days. Do I owe you? He couldn't speak. 870,000, Daniel. I said, you bought her bags for 230,000. You had me save your life for 870,000. You really know how to calculate. Grace. You owe her? Then the 870,000 I spent, do you owe me? His face twitched. I'll pay you back. With what? I asked, your savings? You had 350,000 before marriage, how much left now? He didn't speak. I knew the answer. 120,000, 350,000, transferred 230,000 to Vivian, left 120,000. Daniel. I said, I want to divorce you. He was stunned. What? Divorce. I said, I want a divorce. Grace. Calm down. I'm very calm. I looked at him. From the moment I discovered you calling someone else's name, I've been calm. Grace, I know I was wrong, but. I interrupted him, you were wrong? Where were you wrong? Do you think your spiritual connection with Vivian was wrong? Or transferring 230,000 to her was wrong? Or making me a fool was wrong? Daniel, I don't want to argue with you. I said, I just want to resolve this. Cleanly and neatly. Grace, we can talk properly. Talk about what? I asked, talk about how you called her name in dreams while I cared for you? Talk about how when you woke up, first sight of me, you thought I was her? His face turned completely ashen. Daniel, listen well. I said, I want a divorce. I want back the 870,000 I spent. If you don't agree, I'll tell everyone at your company about you and Vivian. His eyes widened. You dare? I don't dare? I laughed, Daniel, you don't know me at all. I turned and left. Behind, came mother-in-law's voice. She had come in at some point. Grace. This is a threat. I turned back, looking at her. Mom. I said, your son supported his ex for 3 years behind my back, transferred 230,000 to her, came from her home on the day of the accident. I cared for him 730 days, spent 870,000. What do you think I should do? Mother-in-law was choked. I'll tell you. I said, I won't be a resentful woman, crying every day. Nor a shrew, splashing around. I'll do one thing, divorce, get money, leave. If you and your son don't cooperate. I looked at her, then I'll let everyone know how Daniel treated me. I walked out the door. The sunlight was good. My heart had never been so clear. The next few days, Daniel kept coming to me. Apologizing, admitting wrong, begging for a chance. I ignored him. Mother-in-law came a few times too. Attitude 180-degree change. Grace, Mom knows you're aggrieved. But look, Daniel just woke up, body not fully recovered. If you have issues, can't you talk slowly? Mom, I've talked very clearly. But divorce hurts so much. Besides, you have no children, then you alone. I'm fine alone. Grace. Mother-in-law was anxious, how can you be so unreasonable? Daniel knows he was wrong, he'll change, Mom. I interrupted her, do you know why Daniel transferred so much to Vivian? Mother-in-law was stunned. Because she was pregnant with Daniel's child. I said, aborted. Mother-in-law's expression changed. So Daniel feels he owes her. I continued, your son, for 3 years after marriage, has been repaying debt to another woman. Using our money. This. Do you know where he came from on the day of the accident? Mother-in-law didn't speak. Vivian's home. I said, he left Vivian's home, drove 500 meters, had the accident. If no accident, he would probably come home and tell me overtime today. Mother-in-law's lips trembled. Mom. I looked at her, I don't know what you thought back then. Didn't know these things, or pretended not to. But I want to ask you one question. What? Your son has someone else in his heart, do you think he can be good to me? Mother-in-law didn't answer. I ask you another. I said, if you knew these back then, would you still have me marry him? Mother-in-law's eyes flickered. She didn't speak. But from her eyes, I saw the answer. She knew. She knew long ago. She knew Daniel had someone else. She knew he couldn't forget Vivian. But she still matched us. Because she needed a daughter-in-law. One who could take care of the home. A suitable daughter-in-law. I laughed. Mom. I said, I understand. Grace. I understand my position in your heart. I said, a nanny. A nanny who can take care of your son. As for my feelings, you never cared. I'm not. Forget it. I stood up, I don't want to say more. For divorce, let Daniel think clearly. My demands are simple. Divorce, divide property, he repays me $870,000. $870,000? Mother-in-law widened her eyes, what joke are you making? I'm not joking. I said, this is the medical fee I spent. I have every receipt and transfer record. But that was voluntary. Yes, voluntary. I nodded, but that was when I didn't know the truth. If I knew Daniel had someone else, knew he was supporting his ex after marriage, do you think I'd still spend this money? Mother-in-law couldn't speak. Of course. I said, if you think $870,000 is too much, we can negotiate. But the premise is Daniel must agree to divorce. Divorce. If he doesn't agree. I looked at mother-in-law, then I'll let everyone know how Daniel treated me. His colleagues, clients, friends. Mother-in-law's expression became ugly. This is a threat. Not a threat. I said, it's fair trade. He deceived me for 3 years, I have the right to let others know the truth. I picked up my bag, prepared to leave. Right. I stopped at the door, Mom, there's a sentence I've always wanted to ask you. What? Do you really not know about Daniel and Vivian? Mother-in-law's face twitched. Or. I looked at her, you knew long ago, just thought it didn't matter? She didn't answer. But her silence was the best answer. I walked out. My heart suddenly calm. So, in this family, I was never important. From the beginning, I was just a substitute. A suitable choice. A nanny who could care for Daniel. This was the truth of my 3-year marriage. That night, Daniel called me. Grace, let's talk. About what? About future matters. Okay. I said, tomorrow, usual place. Usual place, a cafe we often went to. I arrived earlier than Daniel. Ordered an Americano, sat in the corner waiting. 10 minutes later, he came. Much thinner than before the accident. Pale face, walking a bit unsteady. I looked at him, but no fluctuations in my heart. 2 years ago, I would have felt heartache. Now, not. Grace. He sat down, some things, I want to explain to you. Speak. Vivian and I. He paused, it's my fault. I shouldn't have hidden from you. But I want you to know, I didn't not love you. He looked at me, you're my wife. We've been married 3 years, I to you, how to me? I interrupted, transfer 2,000 to me, 6,000 to her? His expression changed. Grace, that was, because her situation is special. Special? She aborted my child. He said, she alone, very pitiful. Pitiful? I laughed, Daniel, did she know you were married? He didn't speak. She knew. I said, in your chat history, there's one. She said, won't your wife find out? You said, no, she trusts me a lot. His face paled. You too. I said, one deceives, one cooperates. One married man, one mistress. You tell me she's pitiful? Grace. Daniel, I don't want to hear your explanation. I interrupted, I just want to know one thing. What? When you married me, who was in your heart? He was silent. Answer me. He opened his mouth with difficulty, at that time. Vivian went to Shanghai, we were long distance. So you married me because she wasn't here? I said, if she was here? Would you still marry me? He didn't speak. I understand. I nodded, I'm just a substitute. She's not here, I fill in. She came back, you waver. No. No? I took out my phone, opened the recording, listened to what you said. In the recording, his voice clearly, Vivian is my true love. You are just, suitable. His face turned completely ashen. This is what you said the day before yesterday. I closed the recording, do you still deny? He opened his mouth, couldn't speak. Daniel. I looked at him, I give you one more chance. Speak properly, we divorce peacefully. If you continue excuses, quibbles, delays, I'll send this recording to every colleague of yours. You. I dare. I said, I do what I say. He looked at me, eyes with shock, anger, and a trace of fear. He probably never saw me like this. 3 years, I was always the gentle, considerate, easygoing wife. He probably thought I'd cry, make a scene, beg him to change. But he was wrong. I won't cry. I won't make a scene. I'll only do one thing, make him pay the price. Daniel. I stood up, think well. My demands aren't high. Divorce, divide property, repay me $870,000. Give me an answer within 3 days. I walked out of the cafe. Behind, his voice, Grace. You'll regret it. I didn't look back. Regret? I already regretted. Regret marrying him. Regret spending $870,000 to save him. Regret being a fool for 3 years. But now, no. Now, I just want to cut losses. 3 days later, Daniel gave me an answer. Disagree. Grace, calm down. He said on the phone, we can talk properly, no need to go to divorce. You disagree with divorce? I need time. You have no time. I said, I already gave you 3 days. Grace. Tomorrow. I interrupted, tomorrow afternoon 2 o'clock, cafe downstairs from your company. Bring your mom. We talk face to face. Talk about what? Talk divorce. I said, also, I'll tell your colleagues about you and Vivian. You dare. I don't dare? I laughed, Daniel, you don't know me at all. I hung up. The next afternoon, I arrived on time downstairs from Daniel's company. He and mother-in-law were already there. Also a few of Daniel's colleagues, don't know if coincidence or intentional. I walked into the cafe, sat opposite them. Grace. Mother-in-law spoke, expression ugly, what exactly do you want? What do I want? I looked at her, I want divorce, want my money back. I said before. You. Mom. Daniel interrupted mother-in-law, let me speak. He looked at me, a trace of anger in eyes, Grace, don't force me. I force you? I laughed, you deceived me 3 years, supported a mistress 3 years, came from mistress's home in accident. I force you? His expression changed. People around looked over. Lower your voice. Mother-in-law lowered voice. Why lower? I looked at her, your son's actions can't see the light? You. I took out a stack of papers from bag, placed on table. What's this? Daniel frowned. Chat history. I said, you and Vivian's chat history. 1826 messages. His face twitched. And this? I took another stack, transfer records. 67, 230,000. Grace. And this? I took out phone, opened recording, you admitted Vivian is true love, she is just suitable, dot. The recording sounded in the cafe. People around turned heads. Daniel's colleagues among them. This. And this. I took out the last document, hospital emergency record. Daniel came from Sunshine Apartments on accident day. Vivian lives in Sunshine Apartments. Daniel's face ashen. Mother-in-law's lips trembled, couldn't speak. Daniel. I looked at him, do you have anything to say? He opened mouth. Couldn't say a word. I stood up. Colleagues. I turned, said to those people, sorry to disturb. I'm Daniel's wife. Today letting you see this, because I have no choice. You. Daniel tried to stop me. I cared for him 730 days. I continued, spent 870,000 to save him. He woke up, first words called someone else's name. Around was quiet. 3 years after marriage, always contacting ex, transferred 230,000 to her. Accident day, came from ex's home. Someone gasped. I'm not here for sympathy. I said, I just want everyone to know the truth. A woman paid 3 years, what did she get? I looked at Daniel. Daniel. I said, 230,000 buy her bags, 870,000 have me save life. You really calculate well. His face distorted. Grace. He roared, you'll regret. I won't. I said, because I have nothing left to lose. I picked up bag, left the cafe. Behind, discussions. True or false? Chat history there, can it be false? This Daniel is too scummy. His wife cared 2 years, he called ex's name? I didn't look back. Wind on face, cool. But my heart never so relieved. That night, Daniel called. Grace, I agree to divorce. His voice tired. Good. I said, property? I can only give 520,000. 520,000? 870,000 I can't get. He said, I have only 120,000 savings. If you make me sell house, I accept. But sold house, plus savings, max 520,000. I thought. Good. I said, 520,000, divorce agreement, sign tomorrow. Grace. He hesitated, can't you consider again? Can't. I know I was wrong, I really, Daniel. I interrupted, you weren't wrong. You were never right. He was silent. From the start, you never intended to be serious with me. I said, you married me because Vivian wasn't here. You were good to me because you needed a suitable wife. Everything you gave me was charity, makeshift. No. Yes. I said, you said it. She is true love, you are just suitable. He didn't speak. Daniel, I thank you. I said. Thank what? Thank you for letting me know what cutting losses means. I hung up. Next day, we went to civil affairs for divorce procedures. Daniel silent throughout. Mother-in-law didn't come. When signing, Daniel's hand shook a bit. I looked at him, heart calm. 3 years ago, I stood here, full of joy getting marriage certificate. Then I thought I found love, support, lifelong partner. Now I know. I just found a liar. A liar who treated me as substitute. A liar who made me a fool for 3 years. Signed. Staff said, you are now divorced. I stood up, looked at Daniel. Daniel. I said, thank you. For letting me know what cutting losses means. He lifted head, eyes with complex emotions. I ignored. Turned and left civil affairs. Outside, sunlight good. I took deep breath. From today, I'm free. 3rd day after divorce, I received a WeChat. From Vivian. Grace sister, can we meet? I was stunned. Didn't expect her to contact me. Why? I replied. I want to say some things face to face. I thought, replied an address. That cafe. The one for my last talk with Daniel. 3 p.m., Vivian came. Thinner than in photos, makeup exquisite, dressed properly. Obviously carefully dressed. Grace sister. She sat, thank you for seeing me. Say what you have. She bit lip. I want to apologize to you. Apologize? I know, I shouldn't. She lowered head, I shouldn't contact Daniel after you married. I looked at her. You knew he was married? Knew. Knew and still contacted? She didn't speak. Vivian. I said, I don't need your apology. She lifted head. Your apology is useless. I said, whether you apologize or not, past won't change. I cared for Daniel 730 days, spent 870,000. He woke calling your name. Can apology recover? Moreover. I continued, you're not here to apologize. She was stunned. You're here to sound me out. I looked at her, you want to know, after my divorce with Daniel, do you still have a chance? Her expression changed. I said right? She opened mouth, couldn't speak. Vivian. I laughed, I tell you. Daniel is free now. If you want to be with him, no one stops you. But. I looked at her, I also want to tell you one thing. What? Daniel's savings, only 120,000. I said, the 230,000 he transferred to you was his premarital savings. Now almost spent. Her expression changed. His job isn't secure now. I continued, you know, I said his things at his company. He'll probably be unemployed soon. Your true love, now no money no job. I stood up, do you still want? Her face became ugly. I picked up bag. Vivian, I have a sentence for you. What? Your true love can't even support his own wife. I looked at her, good luck. I turned and left. Behind, she didn't chase. I knew she wouldn't. Because she knew the answer. A Daniel with no money, no job, not worth her true love. How ridiculous. Back then her and Daniel, spiritual connection, because Daniel had money. Now Daniel no money, her spirit dispersed. This is their true love. A joke. 1 month after divorce. Daniel indeed unemployed. After his and Vivian's affair spread, company felt bad influence, made him resign. He resigned. Mother-in-law knew, angry hospitalized. After discharge, daily asked Daniel for money. Daniel no money, could only borrow from Vivian. Vivian lent a few times, stopped. They argued. Finally, broke up. Lily told me. Guess what? Lily on phone, what's Vivian's breakup reason? What? She said Daniel, no ambition. Lily laughed, wasn't spiritual connection before? Now no ambition? I laughed too. Grace. Lily said, you did right. What? Divorce. She said, you did right. Cut losses early. I nodded. Yes, cut losses early. I took 3 years to understand. Cost 870,000, and 730 days of youth. But no regret. Because I finally awoke. Better than continuing to dream. After 520,000 arrived, I repaid borrowed 300,000, left 220,000. I used 220,000 to enroll in financial management training. Studied half year, got certificate. Then, job hopped to new company. Finance supervisor. Monthly 15,000. Almost double before. I rented new house, bought a car. Started new life. On divorce signing day, Daniel asked, Grace, do you really not regret? I said, Daniel, thank you. For letting me know what cutting losses means. That was last time I spoke to him. After that, no contact. My life, from that day, restarted. 1 year later. Friday afternoon. I sat in office, finished last report. Sunlight through window, warm. On table a coffee, colleague just brewed. Grace, off work. Someone shouted at door. I glanced time. 5:30, okay, you go first. I said. Colleagues left. Office quiet. I leaned on chair, looked at window view. 1 year. Divorced 1 year. This year passed fast. New job, new house, new friends. All new. Occasionally think of Daniel, no feeling. No hate, no resentment, no nostalgia. Just feel, that was last life's matter. No relation to current me. Phone rang. Lily. Grace. Off work? Come drink. Okay, usual place. I packed, prepared to go. Phone rang again. A WeChat. I opened, stunned. Vivian. Grace, I'm Vivian. Can we chat? I stared at message few seconds. Then put phone in bag. No reply. Walked out company building, wind on face, comfortable. I remembered 1 year ago, after signing divorce walked out civil affairs. Also such wind. Then I thought, from today, I'm free. Now? I've been free 1 year. This year, I learned many things. Learned to be alone, learned finance, learned decisions. Learned not to pin hopes on others. Learned what cutting losses means. Sunlight good. I smiled, walked to cafe. Behind city, bustling. New life, just beginning.